Hey, how's it going, everyone? Andrew Abaria here with another Yoga Masterminds video. Little change of scene. I am here in my studio apartment in Ithaca, New York. For those of you that don't know, I am a graduate student pursuing my MBA. My place is pretty tiny, but I'm just trying to make the best of it, and excited to film this video for you all. So yeah, this video is about the number one thing you can do to make the biggest impact for your students in your yoga classes. And as with many of these videos, I'll start off with a quick story. So a few weeks ago, I was in a class as a student, and I noticed that the teacher opened the class with a personal story. And I really love personal stories because I think it makes it authentic and adds this human element to the experience. Anyways, she was saying how earlier that day, she was having her sort of morning coffee and was like planning out her day, and she knew that she had like 7 or 8 very stressful things that she needed to get through, and she thought she could get through it, but unfortunately midway through the day she actually had to leave her office and go back to her car, close her eyes, be by herself, take a few breaths, and kind of just have this moment of stillness. And she ended up actually canceling a few other of the appointments towards the end of the day. But anyways, her point was this. It was, if you're going to have stress in your life, things that are difficult, make sure that you balance it out with essentially moments of self-care. And I thought, okay, that's an interesting kind of idea, right? And she's talking about balance. So maybe we will do balance poses and she'll instruct us on the art of balance. But to my chagrin, we did the whole class, and there were zero postures that were balance postures. And then 2, there was absolutely no reference of what she had said earlier as she moved us from pose to pose. And I think we see this a lot, right? We go to yoga and, there's this spiritual atmosphere. So of course, a lot of times there's gonna be someone standing in front of the room, opening the class with some life coachy kind of thing, or again, some spiritual referenced story. And then a lot of times, if you really think about it, the poses that you do after it, I've seen 9 times out of 10 have nothing to do with what that person had said. And I think that's the number one thing, the number one missed opportunity in yoga classes, is that you don't relate the work that you do in yoga asana to the spiritual statement that you say in the beginning. Now, I'll stop here and say that this video is purely about yoga asana. So if you practice yoga mantra or yoga meditation or yoga pranayama, this video isn't really for you. I'm not really speaking to that right now. What I'm speaking to is yoga as it pertains to physical movement, the asana, the posture, the third limb of this yoga, of the westernized yoga practice. And a lot of you guys I know will say, well, Andrew, yoga isn't just about your body, this is about something deeper. And so my sort of response to that is, okay, well, if you're fine with having this spiritual statement in the beginning and having some movement afterwards, why not do the spiritual statement and then do a spin class after? Why not do the spiritual statement and do a HIIT class right after? Why not do the spiritual statement and do 1,000 jumping jacks? Like, clearly there is something about the yoga practice as it pertains to physical asana that you need to incorporate if you're going to call yourself a yoga teacher. Otherwise, call yourself a life coach that does movement afterwards. There's something very specific about the proficiency and the competency that you need understanding the human body to really honestly call yourself a yoga teacher. So let me explain with an example. So, right, you're talking about balance in the beginning, great theme. Okay, well then do a balance pose. Let's pick a pose. I don't know, tree pose, right? And her idea was, okay, when you're stressed out, you need to balance it out with moments of self-care. All right, well then talk about the weight that you need to manage as you come into tree pose. So what you need to do when you do tree pose, let's say you're standing on your right foot, stand on your right foot, pick up your left foot. The weight is already gonna lean towards the outer ankle. So to balance it out, you got to do 2 things. You got to press through the outer edge of the back heel, because that's part of the foot that's probably not getting any attention. And then the counterbalance there is pressing through the mound of the big toe. So that's just one example. But I think a lot of times maybe why teachers are not linking the physical body to the life lesson is because they don't deeply understand what goes on in the physical body. And that's what Yoga Masterminds is about. Yoga Masterminds is about deeply understanding the awe and wonder that is encapsulated in your body, and really understanding that, the lessons that you need to learn in life are lessons that you'll learn when you're on your mat. When you're on your mat, your body will tell you things about balance, things about focus, things about where you're putting your energy, and those actually become the inner workings that you probably should share first. Because I think a lot of times we get caught up on this idea, I'm going to be a teacher and I'm going to share some profound, prolific idea that, Brene Brown or Oprah would say. And while I think that's good to look for inspiration on the outside, I think ultimately where you're going to find the most authentic expression of who you are as a teacher is through understanding the difficulties and the challenges that you've experienced in your own body. And then you share that with others. Because it's one thing to intellectualize balance, but it's another thing to lead your students into an experience where they're feeling balance in their bones, in their muscles. Words can only go so far. And I think the most powerful experience is when you do the work on your mat. And again, it's a subtle thing, right? Because anyone can come up with a spiritual statement or a spiritual saying and kind of just throw in postures and get away with it. Because a lot of times yoga teachers will do that. But there's a refined, mature way of approaching yoga teaching where you know that the thing you need to teach is the thing that you've struggled with in your own body. And so I'll just leave it at that. I'm curious to hear what you guys think about that idea that perhaps the better way of constructing a class with a message is not to seek the answer from the outside, seek a statement on the outside, and then maybe try to find a way to relate it to the physical movements, but to really share with your students what you've learned through your own muscles and your own bones and your own struggle with having done, again, this very idiosyncratic, very specific art of movement found within Yoga Asana. So let me know your questions in the comment section below. As always, you guys, thank you so much for watching. If you're into this kind of discourse and this material, go ahead and subscribe and you can get more videos sent directly to your inbox. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.